of this meeting today was to talk about how do you do that kind of work of sort of, if you like, civil society building outside of the society. And the reason that it is so important, I've outlined, but the reason that it's possible is because of the energies of the many people that I've met from the diaspora, from the communities of those who have been displaced by these horrible events in Afghanistan.
We in TBI have attempted to work for options around Western foreign policy, to highlight some of the situation in Afghanistan, in particular the plight of women and girls, but more generally as well, and to foster the beginnings of a civil society dialogue that can lead us towards potentially a better future. And the conversation we're about to have today, which I'm very much looking forward to, I think it would be nice if we imbued it with one of the values that TBI tries to work with, which is we attempt to be optimistic change makers in the world.
For us at Mosaic Afghanistan, it is an honor to be collaborating with the distinguished team of Baroness Kennedy and the Tony Blair Institute in organizing this event. And also, heartfelt thanks to our esteemed panelists, participants, and everyone present here today. Your presence underscores the significance of our collective commitment to a more equitable and just Afghanistan.
At the Tony Blair Institute, in collaboration with Mosaic Afghanistan, we have been in touch with several organizations and hundreds of figures who are fighting against the Taliban. In consultation with them, we have developed a fully fledged proposal on the mechanism of creation of civil society forum. In a nutshell, the civil society forum can be formed of hundreds of civil society figures and organizations, and it can have a general assembly, which would elect a leadership council, and the latter would be empowered by a secretariat, by organizations like the Mosaic and the rest.
To this important work of having the civil society forum, which can engage with parliamentarians, which can engage outside Parliament, which can also train on journalism, academia and so on. So I'm actually quite hopeful that outside Afghanistan will have lots of good links, and I think this is going to be a real leadership for the rebuilding of Afghanistan eventually, because we know that the Taliban's way of doing things will eventually fail, because that sort of ideology is so counter to what human beings want that eventually that will fall.
A senior woman Afghan civil society leader said to me the other day, we can't do this on our own. Building this big umbrella of what's needed, of a coherent Afghan civil society democratic opposition to the Taliban, is going to need a country, a group of countries to chair that process.
There has been a social change in Afghanistan in the past 20 years. That's why we are hoping that the civil society could do something. Otherwise, in a place like Afghanistan, where you have the most totalitarian government, a religious one, in place, if we don't believe in the social change of past 20 years, we will be completely, desperate and despair. That nothing is possible because, there is no space for civil society to work. So we believe that there has been, social change. And we also have to remind ourselves that in the history of Afghanistan, at least in the contemporary history, 130 years, Afghanistan has never been led completely and totally by a fundamentalist or religious entity.
It's also important to have pre and post national dialogue discussions. I think we cannot wait for one even. So there has to be platforms such as the one we have today to facilitate more structured discussions before reaching national dialogue.
Civil society forums alongside of media outlets. They can play a crucial role for documenting and reporting on human rights violation. So this can be includes collecting the evidence and other relevant information to build a comprehensive picture of abuses is going on in Afghanistan.